A very good evening to you and welcome along to Bridgehaugh for this evening's match here in the FOSROC Super 6 as Stirling Wolves take on Watsonians, the 7th FOSROC Super 6 Championship fixture of the 2022 season for both teams. A big thank you to our sponsors, to be shown for them in a second. Just a reminder that Stirling County and Bridgehaugh operate a no smoking policy within the stand. Your support of this is greatly appreciated. Just a reminder as well, the main bar in the clubhouse is open to all spectators throughout the evening. Catering also available from the catering unit located by the entry turnstiles. Hector and Harriet are selling some amazing burgers and loading fries this evening as well. So forget the diet, just get stuck in about the burgers and the chips, it'll be absolutely fine. Today's referee for the match is Ian Kelly. David Shanghai and David Sutherland are your touch judges this evening. And also big thanks to our ball boys and girls coming from Stirling County Rugby Club's Primary 7s who are taking part tonight as ball boys and girls, and also tonight's guard of honour ahead of the match as well. A big thank you to our main sponsor, Wolf Creek, whose mission it is to build a world-class, forward-thinking Scotch whisky distillery and to create a globally recognised premium whisky brand as well. A big thank you to our other Super 6 sponsors, who include Douglas Park BMW, Belhaven Beers, JM Architects, Johnson Carmichael, and also the University of Stirling as well. Also a big thank you to our player sponsors, newest of whom is Pure Sport. They're currently sponsoring one of our co-captains, Marcus Holden, throughout the championship season this year. And also a big thank you to our official partners of Scottish Rugby, FOSROC, the title sponsor of the Super 6, Gilbert's, the official ball sponsor of the Super 6, Nutrition X, which is the club's official performance supplement partner, and iPro, the official hydration of the Super 6. And if you'd like to see your company name around the ground on the advertising hoardings, or indeed on the TV broadcast, then why not get in touch with Dan, our Super 6 General Manager, and discuss how we can help you and get your name in lights here at Bridgehaugh.
Welcome to Bridgehaugh, the home of Stirling Wolves. Tonight, the struggling home team will face Watsonians, who are currently sitting top of the FOSROC Super 6 Championship. The whole match is coming up live right here on Free Sports. Kick-off is less than 15 minutes away. Good evening, welcome to a chilly evening here in Stirling. We're looking forward to some cracking rugby that we're hoping will be on offer. Alongside me to take this in is former Scotland international Chris Paterson. Chris, how are you doing?
Cooling down somewhat. It was nice when the sun was up, but it's I suppose we're getting into autumn and these chilly nights are coming in. We shouldn't complain because it's bone dry and there's not much wind, so it should be exciting. Perfect night for rugby, and on paper, realistically, Watsonians should be walking over this one, but we don't play rugby on paper. Well, that's right. They've been really impressive. A depth of squad, the top of the league, 7 points clear of second place, so the Ayrshire Bulls do have a game in hand. And at the foot of the table, Stirling Wolves played 6, won none, lost all 6. but had a good sprint series earlier on in the season, and there's a lot of quality there as well. So you're right, everything points towards a Watsonians win, but they're away from home. They have struggled here in the past, and Stirling have got lots to play for.
They've never won here, so I'm told. So that's certainly on the players' minds tonight. It's been a pretty difficult week, I guess, if you're a Stirling Wolves player, with the news that Ben Cairns is deciding to move on at the end of the season. What level of impact will that have for these players, do you think?
I think they'll be disappointed in terms of Ben's a quality young coach. He's set up a great done a lot of kind of good work off the pitch here in terms of setting up relationships with the university, with setting up the team. Really, he was the first Stirling Wolves head coach when the Super 6 came in 4 years, so he's very familiar. They're familiar with him, as well as being a good coach. So he's set a lot of good foundations. But his young family in Edinburgh, and it's a big community, it's a big travel, and he wants to spend a bit more time there. So the effect on the players, I think, pre-match, it's something to inspire them and absolutely give another piece of motivation in terms of performing well, which could be the last home game for Stirling Wolves this season. So they want to make a difference there. But once you're on the field, these things tend to be forgotten about, and you deal with the moment, you deal with what's in front of you, and you make good decisions, and you get engrossed in what's happening. But an emotional level before and after the game, I think it will have an effect.
Okay, from a Watsonians perspective, how do they stop winning?
Stop winning?
Yeah, that's what Ben's going to be thinking
well, that's
tonight.
the thing. Yeah, they've got so much quality, and they've got some professional players back. Ben Muncaster, Connor Boyle, both in the back row, really good players to even make their squad arguably even stronger.
It's just that consistency.
They have, and they've got a great balance of decision makers in the 10, 12, 13 channel in there as well. They're talking to Fergus Pringle, their head coach, earlier on. They've got a better balance of the game than they did last year. They dominated a lot of games last year, but didn't put teams away, if that makes sense. A lot of territory, a lot of possession, but didn't rack up the points. This year they have. They've scored over 60 points in the last 2 or 3 weeks, so they're a formidable side, and Stirling Wolves will be up against it. But saying that, we mentioned the back row battle. Gregor Hiddleston, who's a young hooker, is playing in the back row for Stirling Wolves, and he'll relish that opportunity to go up against Connor Boyle, quite a similar player in many ways around the breakdown. So there's definitely little bits for Stirling to get their teeth into, but Watsonians are strong.
Okay, thank you very much for the moment, Chris. Let's speak to both head coaches. Actually, I managed to catch up with them a little earlier. Ben, it's been quite the week for you. I'm guessing it wasn't an easy decision to decide to leave at the end of the season.
No, look, it's always tough, isn't it, when you've put so much into a role, and I've been here nearly 4 years, but I just felt the time was right for a new challenge. I guess the decision was made a while ago. The club have known about it for a while, but obviously this week was the announcement to the players and then to the public as well. So, yeah.
What impact can you make then till the end of the season?
Look, I'm hoping it galvanises the squad. I expect a reaction from our group off the back of that. I certainly want to finish here on a high, and I think I've got the back and the players to go out and do that as well. So I'd expect this to be an emotionally charged evening for us.
You think so, and especially not particularly easy against the team top of the table, and who look as if they're scoring tries for fun at the moment. Yeah,
they are, and we took a bit of a hiding a couple of weeks ago from them, so we know what's coming to an extent. At the same time, they've never beaten us here, and that's something we've drilled into the players this week, because it's a proud record we hold here. And yeah, look, it's going to be a real tough turnaround to turn around that 60-point deficit from a couple of weeks ago, but we're going to give it our all tonight.
Fergus, I reckon that facing a team who are bottom of the table, struggling for wins, it can be a dangerous time to face anyone.
Yes, we've played Stirling 3 times already this season, and they're a really tough team to play against. I know that the score the last time we played doesn't reflect that, but they've got a different squad out, and we know it'll be a really tough game tonight.
A bit of shuffling, especially for the forwards for you tonight. Was that more about rotation than anything else this evening?
We've got a couple of injuries and a couple of guys carrying knocks. It's quite an attritional competition, playing 6 games in 7 weeks. So there's a couple of guys that we haven't risked tonight, but then we've got a couple of Edinburgh boys coming in as well. So we have a few changes in the pack, and hopefully you can adapt and get the job done on the field. You've been so forceful, you've been such a force in this competition. How do you continue that level of consistency? Yeah, to be honest, we didn't reach the levels we wanted to last weekend against Boroughmuir. I don't think either team did, but I think our thing is we just take it a week at a time. You respect the opposition. There's good teams in the competition. There's good players in every squad. We just try and prepare well and consistently, and then hopefully if we do the things right in the week, the game takes care of itself. Best of luck tonight. Thanks for chatting to us. Thank you very much.
It is top against bottom here tonight. It's Stirling Wolves against Watsonians, and it is on the way live after this break. Welcome back to our coverage of the FOSROC Super 6 Championship. It is Stirling Wolves against Watsonians this evening. Time to hand you over to our commentary team tonight of Chris Paterson and Paul Mitchell.
Good evening, everybody. And Bridgehaugh looking beautiful as the sun is set and darkness begins to set in across this famous old city. There's been a bit of darkness about Stirling Wolves so far this season, yet to find a point, and we'll be hoping that tonight can change things. They will have to hunt in packs against the Watsonian side that have been exceptionally impressive in the Super 6 Championship campaign. It's the last home fixture of the Super 6 Championship for Stirling this season. Let's have a little look at how these teams will line up for Stirling Wolves. Walter Fafita is released by Glasgow. He starts on the wing. He becomes the 46th player used in the championship season so far by the Wolves. Alex Thom starts at centre for the injured Craig Jardine. Gregor Christie missed the Bulls game due to injury, but he starts at 9. Some shuffling two in the pack. Co-captain Connor Gordon misses out through injury. Gregor Hiddleston moves back to 7. Angus Fraser in at hooker. Benedict Grant returns at 8. Jack Hill moving to 6. Nathan Macbeth was due to start, but he's been recalled by Glasgow Warriors, so Adam Wood will start at loose heads. So Watsonians have had great continuity of selection. They actually rest a few players tonight. There's one change in the backs where Lowen McPherson returns in place of the unavailable Harry Paterson, who's in South Africa. Other news from the backs, Rod Froswick returns from Australia, joining the squad as an injury replacement for the rest of the season. It's in the pack where all of the changes really have come, 6 changes to the starting pack. Cal Davis, Quagga Van Niekerk, Jamie Beresford returning to the starting lineup. Connor Boyle, Angus Williams come in on pro release. Campbell Wilson, Bobby Bratton moving to the bench. Cole Lamberton gets his first start of the campaign. Horace Courtney is unavailable through injury, but make no mistake, that is still a very strong Watsonians pack. So it's Watsonians who are first to join us in their change colours. And there is Jason Baggett alongside Cal Davis. Lee Miller at 10. He'll be an influential player. And what a night this could be for Watsonians. Not so long ago, they thumped Stirling by 66 points to 7. And what a beautiful kit this is from the Stirling Wolves. The numbers, I can tell you, are a commentator's dream. Apart from Walter Fafita, you can see running through there, they couldn't find a shirt big enough for him with a number on it, so he's managed to get one of his own. Chris Paterson alongside me. The man with no number will be influential tonight. They need to get him the ball. They need to feed Walter Fafita.
Yeah, full-time pro with Glasgow Warriors, international to Tonga as well. As Mascot brings a ball boy on for Lee Miller there, perfectly placed. But Walter Fafita is somebody who, if he gets his hands on the ball, can cause a lot of damage. I think primarily, though, I think it's defensive duties that will probably Ben Cairns will be focusing more than anything else. I conceded 10 tries last week against Ayr. I think 6 of those were from within 3 phases as well. So they want to get that defensive organisation right. Ian Kenny's this evening's referee, the regular in the FOSROC Super 6 Championship.
And in his 3rd Super 6 game of this season as the man in the middle has been involved. And it's his 3rd Super 6 meeting that he's officiated between these two teams. So a slightly different look to both teams in terms of the kit, but will there be the familiar power from Watsonians? Lee Miller underway. Brand goes back and chases that. Takes the scenic route before being hauled down eventually. Williamson. Miller. Here's an early chance for Alec Thom to make the run. Did well, Alec Thom, just to get in, make the tackle, get himself back up, moves across back into the defensive position. Short little pass. It's on to Quagga Van Niekerk. Come on, Quagga is the cry. And it comes through onto Dom Coetzee. There's a mistake, Chris. Lots of the field to play with. Was inside his own half, was trying perhaps for the 50-22, but just overcooked that one.
Yeah, Dom Coates, that's about the first mistake he's made actually all season. He's been outstanding for Watsonians, played in the wing often last season, very comfortable at fullback, outside centre as well. And it was interesting that, you know, we mentioned Stirling's defence, it was actually very good right there. Rory Brand picked up the loose ball, he was hunted down, and then when Conor Eastgate tried to take it up in the middle, he was met with Alex Tom. So early signs for, you know, Ben Cairns and the Stirling Wolves side that the defence is on point, and as a result Coetzee went to put boot in the ball and forced a kick straight out.
Well, early problems for the scrum half, Rory Brand. He certainly got tackled very heavily when he went on that walkabout. Angus Fraser with the throw. Fraser gets it in well, comes through the hands of Gregor Christie. Christie opens things up, trying to battle his way through Benedict Grant. Christie, that's a terrible pass, and there's the problem that Stirling have had. It's ceding possession way too easily. Brand comes in, it's going to be taken in by Williams. Davis on his shoulder. Counter ruck came in, but it was good protection by Van Niekerk. Comes through the hands of Conor Eastgate. Brand again. There's the tall figure of Conor Eastgate, man of the match against Boroughmuir a few weeks ago. He's had a good season so far. Now again, Brand plays it in, good tough tackling, Benedict Grant. They attempted the jackal, didn't work. Comes through Lee Miller, a little short on the pass. You can see the push coming in from Angus Williams. Again, Miller just drops it back, nowhere to go. Loman McPherson. It's a good early defensive set though from Stirling.
It is. We probably don't want to do too many tackles or make too many tackles or spend too much time in defence. Obviously conceded possession quite early on. The defence is good, but you know, Watsonians at the same time look comfortable and they're forcing the tackles from Stirling. Good charge in with Williamson.
Yeah, Max Williamson did well there. It's a good turnover. And again, Christie into Grant. Grant taken down by Van Niekerk. Holden in at 10 tonight. Chance for Tom to make the run. Dragged over the halfway line. Hiddleston. Some good work from George Breeze as well. Holden. Trying the 50-22. See, they'll take a bounce. Coetzee gets there inside his own 22. That's actually a nice play from the fullback. Stayed calm, Chris, and dealt with it well.
It was an excellent kick from Coetzee. It was actually a really good kick from Marcus Holden just before. I thought Stirling could maybe have kicked a phase earlier as Conor Eastgate's taken a blow in the midfield as well. There was a lot of space to the open side for Marcus Holden to find. But Coetzee got over, covered it. That was a much better kick than his first one. Found touch over halfway.
Well, it's been attritional already. And Conor Eastgate just getting some attention. It's been a bright start. Stirling have to put down a marker. I mean, it's hard to face a team that beat you by nearly 60 points just a few weeks ago. You've got to be prepared mentally to come in and try and stand up to that.
You do, and the start is therefore really important. And the better the start, the more you gain confidence and you take small steps, especially having not won a game. There's very little to take your confidence from, so you have to target the small wins. And you know, it's two good phases of defence that Stirling have had. They forced a turnover, Max Williamson's pressure on Rory Brand's box kick, forced a turnover, and then a good set with ball in hand. So these are all little things when you haven't had a great season that you can use to spark your motivation, to give you confidence. And I think that's Stirling's best route into the game tonight, is to stay with Watsonians for as long as possible. Watsonians have been the form team alongside Ayrshire Bulls, and Stirling will just want to hold on to them for as long as possible and then turn the pressure back on their away side.
Well, won by the home side. Watsonians trying to swim through. Angus Fraser getting his jersey almost removed. Christie. Tom took it in. And the penalty will come. Not releasing.
Yeah, it was a brilliant piece of play by Carl Davis, I think. Watsonians hooker is quick as a flash in over top of the ball. Have another look here. Still, Tom takes out the middle. Look at that, quick as a flash. It was Eastgate with a tackle low, and then Carl Davis immediately, almost just as Tom hit the ground, right in, wins a penalty. And Lee Miller finds a safe touch. It's not his best strike.
I was going to say that's the kindest words I've heard in a while.
I just had to double check it was as bad as I thought the first time, but it's safe. It's safe. I think he had a wee wry smile on his face as well.
Yeah, I think you know yourself when the kick doesn't get away properly. His teammates had a little quizzical look, but no more than that. Davis in well. Cecil won it. In Connor Boyle, the Edinburgh player. Brand pulls it back onto Miller. Well, he could have released Angus Guthrie, but it's taken in. It's a good tackle. And again, Max Williamson trying to take down Van Niekerk. Comes back though on the Watsonian side. Leading the charge, Ben Muncaster. Big, tall, strong number 8. Through the hands of Miller. Miller gets it out wide. Lewis Berg getting his first meaningful touch. Brand again. Had to really pull that back, avoid any chance of an interception. Some great gang tackling going on there. Gregor Hiddleston leading the charge on Jamie Beresford, who has been impressive for Watsonians. Through the hands now of Eastgate. Eastgate gets his partner Berg. Brand, Eastgate, Muncaster. Holden tried to drag him out. Christie now trying to do the same. That's good work from the Wolves. If you pardon the pun, they do have to hunt in packs here just to try and make sure that they're getting round the ball and not allowing Watsonians the quick release.
They do, because Watsonians have a threat all over the park, really. Whether it's the carrying of Muncaster up front or Lewis Berg having a couple of important touches there further out. But again, good defence from Stirling Wolves. The first phase defence was excellent, where they stopped the first phase attack off the line, and then as Rory Brand looked round and Watsonians came down the short side, it was really cute, clever decision making in defence from Stirling, and then they built some momentum off that.
It's well taken. Jack Hill. Holden calling the shots. See if the ball is going to come back or whether Christie will try it himself. Well, it's a little bit riskier than I think Ben Cairns would have liked. Almost tried to set up that second phase to make the kick easier, but not made life much easier for themselves. Grant trying to drive through the ball.
This is good for Watsonians, making it really difficult for Stirling Wolves to get any momentum to clear the lines. Every possession's under pressure for the Wolves.
There is the kick from Christie. Waiting for it as Angus Guthrie takes it well, but immediately taken down by James Pout. And the referee is going to say there's no clear release of the tackler, and that is a penalty. And that really comes, as you mentioned, from all the pressure.
It was good pressure, wasn't it? It was Guthrie that got up and took the kick. The kick was a little bit short from Christie. I think it was maybe Christie that was penalised there as the assist tackler, not releasing and then falling on the wrong side, interfering with possession. Lee Miller's found a better touch this time, but it was good work from Watsonians, just refusing to give Stirling Wolves an easy out or an easy platform to either kick or run out of defence. Good work from Watsonians.
Carl Davis. It's well taken by Beresford. Davis has it at the back. Stirling holding. Now they start to truck forward. Davis actually changed his bind. Referee didn't spot it.
Not sure he's still bound there either, is he?
No, he changed again. Referee and Kenny not penalising. And they continue to stretch. Brand on the inside, dropping down there, Van Niekerk. Some good tackling coming in there. Hiddleston looking to open up, but Benedict Grant was in quickly. Brand again. No way through for Beresford. Brand, a little pop off round the corner onto Cecil. No way through. It's a strong white line at the moment, the defence, but it will open up on the left side if they can get things moving. Stirling trying to make things as difficult as possible, but now it comes. Miller gets it through the hands, and there comes the error from Lewis Berg. And the referee will give the scrum. It was on. I thought Watsonians were too slow to move it.
Yeah, it was more good defence from Stirling Wolves. A massive tackle from Angus Fraser in there, I think, as well. And as a shoot down the blind side, Gregor Christie flies out the line. There he is, the white number 9, puts enough pressure on Liam Miller's pass that it's just a little bit too far in front of Lewis Berg. It's really good play from the number 9 because he forces the error. Yeah, Lewis Berg will be disappointed not to take that, but they had worked the position quite well, Watsonians, but then Christie flew off the line, applied the pressure, which meant it wasn't a simple take and give. And it's a little bit, well, it's great for Stirling Wolves that they're defending much better than they have done in previous weeks, but they're, and the negative side for them is they're having to do too much defending. They really need to try and get some time in possession, get some territory to just lift this pressure that's building on them from the away side.
Yeah, I mean, it's the hit after hit after hit you have to take in the defending situation. And you can see they're up very, very quickly. And it's good play from the scrum half. Yeah,
it just forces, Lee Miller to flick that ball a little bit quicker. Lewis Berg run the right line, he run at space. He reacted to what Gregor Christie did, but just the pressure meant that the pass wasn't quite as accurate as hoped, and the timing onto the ball from Berg wasn't quite what they wanted. Let's see. Team running repairs.
It's never a good sign when the boot's being taped to you, basically.
No.
You're going to regret that in the morning. James Powell up and okay.
They actually Stirling defended that maul reasonably well as well. I say Carl Davis was in control of the ball at the back, but it wasn't trundling forward, it was kind of inching forward, because the strike power that Watsonians have, if they get good quick ball, if they get ball rolling forward, they can pick their options very well, but it's now on to the Wolves to clear the lines.
Adam Wood, Angus Fraser, George Brace up against Cole Lambert and Carl Davis and Angus Williams in the front row. Angus Williams, 3 for Watsonians, played for Edinburgh last week against Dragons. As Benedict Grant picks up, tries to drive through Connor Boyle. Again, trying to see what the exit strategy is. Well, you can James Powell at the side there, just disposing of his opponent, and eventually Christie gets it away. Seems to be the tactic that they're kicking off 9 rather than relying on the fullback.
Yeah, that's a good strike from Christie. I think there's so much pressure on from Watsonians on Stirling Wolves to try and get the kick away. It's safer to go off 9 if you have created the space. You saw George Breeze joining the ruck late there and given extra length, so it meant that Christie's kick was further away from the charge down pressure, and as a result they found a good touch.
Well taken again by Beresford. Quickly off Muncaster, avoids Hiddleston and the referee. Stirling are in trouble here. Brand trying to find it. Cecil, fair hair, white headband, trying to work his way through. Miller will send it long. It's picked up by Berg. The ball came popping out for a second, and it will come back again. Beresford trying to get in there is Cole Lamberton. Some good counter rucking being attempted by the Wolves. Here's Miller. Miller plays it across. Muncaster beats first man. Carl Davis gets his way through. Good support from Eastgate. That'll come out wide. Defence up very quickly, but there's the little offload in the pass. And despite the attempt, it's Seb Cecil who will go through for the opening score. Watsonians on the board after 12 minutes. And the pressure simply just too much for the Wolves.
That's an excellent score from Watsonians. We said if they get go forward ball or any momentum, they're so good at picking the right options. 2 or 3 brilliant pieces of play in here. And the last piece was sublime, the offload from Liam Miller. That was Muncaster feeding through and offloading to Carl Davis. Muncaster started all this with a brilliant run off the back of the line, and then watch this delayed pass here, just there from Liam Miller to Seb Cecil. He pulls the defence onto him, delays the pass, dummies the pass, then gives it Seb Cecil also has to run the right line into the hole. He did that exactly, and because Watsonians are coming forward, there's Angus Williams at scrum half. There's the delayed pass again, and well finished. It's a really good score from Watsonians, hard to defend against.
14 of the 23 players that stripped for Watsonians this evening have scored tries. You can add that up by 1. It's the first try of the season for Seb Cecil. Going over the line, they do get the scores out pretty well. And Seb Cecil's first score since scoring against Stirling back in April. It's his second Watsonians try at this level. The kick attempt from Lee Miller is unsuccessful. Well, it's Watsonians who strike first, and it's a familiar tale for Stirling Wolves. Plenty of positives so far for Ben Cairns' men, but it's hard work, and you're not going to keep Watsonians out all day.
Well, it's hard work because the threat is very well balanced across the Watsonians team. We saw Muncaster running hard off the line out to get the initial breach, and then right over the right-hand side to Lowe McPherson threatening on that side, and then through the middle, through Lee Miller's short pass. So that triple threat really is hard to defend against.
Jack Hill taking into contact. Brand. Oh, that was brilliantly taken, but the offload was not ideal. A little bit of afters continuing, but Craig Robertson came through pretty well. Took it well, tried the little offload, Chris, but just didn't work for him.
Yeah, it's right in front of us. Craig Robertson had his eyes on the ball, and he did really well to attack the ball in space, come and claim it there. But a brilliant tackle from Boyle. Not only the initial contact, but that secondary drive to force a hit. And I think Benedict Grant thought there was something brewing, but nothing there, just good, hard, fair play.
So the referee...
There's some communication problems, I think, with the ref.
Yep. He's getting a little bit of attention, the referee, but for sound reasons rather than medical. We'll see if we can get that fixed. We watched, obviously, the warm-up of both teams, and the thing that impressed me about Watsonians, Chris, was it looked so crisp, so fast. I mean, they could be coming into this game thinking, well, we beat this mob before, 59 points, but they looked sharp, they looked on it.
They did, and I think there's quite a few changes in the Watsonians team as well, which is maybe a masterstroke from Fergus Pringle because they've already beaten them, and it's almost, here's an opportunity in them, and their quality players coming in as well. But there's maybe a kind of, listen, haven't performed very well here at all. Our record on the road in Stirling's been poor, so there's a real focus on, and he mentioned his pre-match interview, on the now, in the game you're playing, and not looking too far ahead, not looking too far back at the victory you've had so far. And you could see that in the warm-up, as you say. It was clinical, it was sharp, and they've started really well. Yes, Stirling Wolves have been dogged in defence, but you can see the quality that Watsonians possess. This will maybe be the first scrum we're going to face. Maybe second, there was one closer to Stirling's line. Second scrum, it's the first put into Watson, so we'll see how their strike plays are. Stirling struggled defensively off first phase last week. Let's see if Watsonians can create something here.
Brand to put in, where's 9? Well, the scrum has gone down, and the referee will decide a reset. Both teams at fault, but it's the psychological stuff that goes on here, the back slapping between the hookers and the props, as if to say, we got the better of that.
I hate it. Honestly, I just think, everybody cheers and everybody claps, but there must be somebody doing something wrong. No, everybody can be right. No, everybody needs congratulating because there's either a collapse or an offence, and I know it's all part of the game, isn't it? It's the momentum. You're trying to get that spirit, that energy that people talk about, but it does great when everybody cheers.
It's like primary school. Everybody gets a participation medal now.
Yeah, everybody gets a pat in the back, regardless of what happens at every scrum.
Yep. Watsonians with the lead. The league leaders up against Stirling Wolves, yet to register a point on the board. This time the scrum goes down. There is a clear winner. Adam Wood is penalised for taking it down, and Ian Kenny, the arm goes up. Penalty Watsonians.
Didn't have another look at that. Perhaps Adam Wood, I think it was maybe a binding issue in on his side, but it looked like a decent contest in all honesty. It didn't look... I'll have another look here. This is left-hand side, just in front of Ian Kenny, looking at the left arm on the white shirt. Does the bind move? Does it slip? Nah, he's more down to the ground. He's collapsed under the pressure, so it is a penalty. And similar process of Lee Miller finding touch. The last line it we saw, Muncaster doing a bit of damage. He's off the back of the line again here.
Cecil takes it, nicely played out. Connor Boyle was the runner from midfield. The penalty will come in, offside. It's going to be taken quickly by Brand. Brand taken down well by Angus Fraser. But here's the momentum from Watsonians. Cole Lamberton driving his way through. Brand there, taken well by Miller. Chinked back on the inside, taken down well, Gregor Hiddleston. These sides have met 8 times, Stirling Counties as it was then. I've got 2 wins here. Bizarrely, it's always gone with the team classified as the home team, which Watsonians have been on half a dozen occasions. But it has always been pretty close. Now, here's the opportunity to get things moving out. Berg will go all the way through. That's powerful from Lewis Berg. Well, he got the pass, played to him, and the space was available. It's a 3rd try of the season for Lewis Berg, and Watsonians extend their lead.
Yeah, well finished in the end. Poor defence from Holden. He'll be frustrated at that, but there's so many options. It's Conor Eastgate, that first receiver, and Lee Miller further out on a couple of occasions here. This is a midfield, just the fluency between it is 13 to 10, 12 to 10 to 13. They're so comfortable, all of them on the ball, distributing and strike running. They're just seamlessly, kind of fluidly bind together. There's Eastgate, and it's another scoring pass delivered from Lee Miller to Lewis Berg, who does power through the tackle, but Marcus Holden will be frustrated at that. Just went a little bit too high and was pushed off. Lewis Berg is in rich try scoring form yet again this season. A powerful unit in that 13 jersey.
The opportunity to add the extras comes for Lee Miller.
Yeah, Conor Eastgate has played quite a lot of 10. He played Scotland under-20s as a number 10. And Lee Miller and him, they're quite similar players. Very good passers, very good facilitators, very good distributors, really clever sports people, and they're able to kind of interchange between 10 and 12. Makes it so difficult for the defence to know where the next threat's coming from. It is a real success. With Jason Baggett, who's injured at the moment as well, the more depth to that midfield, so there's a good trio.
Lee Miller lands the kick, 12-0. It's an interesting point you make as well, because not every 10 can go to 12 and not every 12 can go to 10. You do need that specific mindset.
It's a style of play as well. I mean, some teams will pick a number 12 whose sole purpose is to give you go forward, to be powerful, to be a dynamic ball carrier. Other teams perhaps will play that more distributing second 5/8, as they call it in New Zealand, that extra pair of hands. And Lee Miller and Conor Eastgate really do combine well. They can both carry, they can both pass. Kick right foot on Miller, left foot on Eastgate, so it's a really good balance.
Brand gets it away, taken down well by Craig Robertson into Benedict Grant. Christie pulls it back onto Holden. Holden looks out wide. Thomas there, Southern on the outside of him. Christie again. Well, you could see precisely what was meant there, the little clip kick through, looking for the run of Logan Jarvie. Just a little bit too in advance, so second prize is to try and pin Watsonians back a little. Yeah,
that's a result of Watsonians' defence. I was just thinking that's the first time Stirling Wolves have really had a little bit of sustained possession, really, since the first 5 or 6 minutes. So that, have given their time again. I think maybe want to keep it in hand, but I can see why Craig Robertson went for that. The flat defensive line of Watsonians was in position. It wasn't far away from being a good kick. Logan Jarvie was in space, but it was just drifted too far.
Wasn't the straightest of throws from Cal Davis. But he has the ball at the back of them all. He's offering it to Brand. Brand told Miller to make the little run, and that's exactly what he did. It's a hard one for the fullback. Robertson did well, and then Jarvie comes in to help out as well. Christie onto the inside. Adam with the prop. Wasn't due to start, Nathan Macbeth was. He got recalled by Glasgow Warriors. Grant. The turnover is good. Now here's Berg, the second try scorer. Berg. It's Southern. And Fafita, the man with no number, moves his way forward. Grant. It's a nice offload, but immediately Boyle is there for Watsonians. Holden. Sent wide. It was a good pass from Jack Hill. It's adventurous stuff. Christie does a little reverse on that far side. Now there might be a little bit of room to run here. Just touched out of play by Angus Guthrie. Under real pressure on that far side. He did well, Ryan Southern, trying to break his way through.
He did well. I found a little bit of space up that left-hand side. Before that, all of Stirling's attack seemed to be in front, playing in front of Watsonians' defence. Wasn't really threatened, but they did. Gregor Christie shoot back down that short side after Walter Fafita had made a few yards. And then Southern was quick to chip the ball over the top. There is kick space to be found for Stirling, but it's a catch-22 because they haven't had a lot of possession and they want to feel themselves into the game. But there is a very flat defensive line for Watsonians. It's making it hard to make any inroads.
James Power at the back, down onto Christie. Comes straight on to Tom. Benedict Grant's working his way through. Oh, it was a lovely idea. There was nobody there to take it. And the penalty will come. Playing the ball on the ground. Gregor Christie wants it from Carl Davis to get things moving. Benedict Grant, that was outrageous.
It was good, wasn't it? Actually found the space. I actually think out of your peripheral vision, he probably knew there was somebody there and it wasn't quite exactly who it was or where they were. And the offload was delivered under control, bursting through Lee Miller's shackles. Yeah, I think Gregor Harrelson actually stumbled just before. Like Benedict Grant knew he was there and, you know, gave that excellent offload out the back blind, but he was just unlucky that Hiddleston stumbled. Won the penalty though, and here's a chance for the Wolves, the home side, to build some pressure.
Quite a conservative kick from Marcus Holden.
Someone in the air tonight with these conservative penalty kicks.
Taken down well by the Wolves. Angus Fraser in at the back. Fraser, the 22-year-olds. It's good to see Angus Fraser playing. He's been out for a while. Now trying to find his way through. Christie needed help. Pow. It's on to Wood. Well tackled. Hiddleston goes in to help. Grant 2. It's big for Max Williamson. Where's 5? Penalty will come. Ian Kenny up there, very quick to spot the infringement, simply not moving away.
Yeah, not rolling away. And that's coming because there's more power in the carry. There's a secondary effort. There's Max Williamson not stopping an initial contact, driving through. Carl Davis is lying on top of the ball. Quagga Verneerkirk's quite entitled to go for that, but it's Carl Davis who hasn't rolled away, who's penalised, and that comes just from that extra little bit of footwork and dynamism in the ball carry from Stirling. And now they're beginning to build a little bit of pressure.
It's Angus Fraser. For Scotland under 19, under 20. Scored against Watsonians back in June. And if they can get this right, he'll be the man that will receive the ball at the back here. They smuggle the ball back to him. Fraser has it. Now, Watsonians. It's good counter play, forcing the men in white sideways. There's that offload on the inside. Fafita! Oh, bang, bang, and then, well, the Tongan truck just ran over Watsonians, and the Wolves are on the board.
Well, what a finish from big Walter Fafita. Initially a really good drive from Watsonians to repel the Wolves, and then the ball popped out. Christie probably played it when he didn't really want to, but he was forced to play it. But a brilliant ball back inside to that man Fafita, who I think could have scored without the dunt, but he wanted to hit somebody on the way through. This is it. What Christie knows that they're getting compromised here, Wolves. He pops off to the right and then back inside to Fafita. It's Rory Bland who takes the dunt, but I'm pretty sure Fafita could have made it, but it's Osha You don't often see that. You get penalised for jumping into a tackle like that for the defender, I think.
Well, as a member of the Scrum Half Protection Society, that was a sore one to watch, but he certainly bumped him.
It's good exactly for Stirling Wolves' needs. You know, got a little bit of territory from winning 1 or 2 penalties and then held into it in opposition territory and worked that score well, because Watsonians' defence was on top again there from them all, but good play from Christie and Fafita to get the score they deserve.
Marcus Holden nails that. It's a 5-point game, and Ben Cairns will be delighted with the way his side have responded. Walter Fafita, a couple of appearances for Glasgow. He'll certainly want to be part of the Warriors this term, and coming into the Super 6 and performing will do him no harm.
A good catch. That's a Max, was it? James Pow that took that above his head. Great catch.
Tremendous catch. Good hands from James Pow. 31st appearance for the Wolves as Holden. That comes slicing off the boot. It'll be well taken by Angus Guthrie. It's kind of unforced error. Well, Ben Cairns felt that he sided a turnover there, but Watsonians hold on. Crashing up Cole Lamberton. Davis in beside him. Nicely to Conor Eastgate. I think that went backwards when the referee decided that it didn't in the end.
Well, it's just a reward for the pressure that's coming through from Stirling Wolves' defence. That time Jack Hill just getting up. Because they're coming forward, there's 1 or 2 big collisions here. And then the pass goes to ground, and then Hill's just up quick, isn't he? I don't think it did go forward, but you can see the crowd are getting behind the home side a little bit. There's a bit spring in their step, obviously from that try, but also from the reward they're getting from this kind of aggressive defence.
I think it's the right word. It's a very aggressive defence. Craig Robertson coming up from fullback, trying to make something happen.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I didn't think it went forward.
No, I think it went back, but as I say, because you're piling forward, putting the pressure on, the crowd are getting engaged, and it makes it difficult for Kenny in the middle to see.
Oh. Grant and Christie. Well, it was almost a muffled snap there.
I think that one was forward.
Yeah. Holden. Back to Coetzee. Fafita. You don't want to get pace up. Oh. That has to be one of the most disappointing things of the season. Walter Fafita had, 10-15 metres to get steam up and didn't. It's
only disappointing if you're watching. If you're a Watsonians player, that's not disappointing at all. You're like, I forced that error, that's excellent. Yeah, frustrating for Walter Fafita. He's actually a good kicker. He's a talented footballer as well, but he just fell off to the left and dragged it out in the full, and it's exactly what the opposition wanted, in all honesty. The only other thing I'd pick you up on is your muffled snap. You need to talk us through that, Paul.
No, the American football snap between the...
And if it goes wrong, is it a muffled?
It's muffled in the fact that it was completed, but poorly. There we go.
Yeah. I think it actually did go forward as well, so they've maybe in the back of the scrum, they got away with it, but we're back to where the scrum would have been in, and we've got a line out.
Half an hour played. Stirling Wolves and Watsonians. Stirling Wolves yet to get on the board this season in the Super 6. They've struggled with tries, just 11 tries coming into tonight. Number 12 left its mark on Rory Brand.
I'm not sure what Rory Brand's... I mean, maybe he's targeting the ball, but he's jumping up a long way. And I think he's almost over the line anyway. Quite often you see players target and try and knock the ball out the player's hand as they're going to pop it down or wrap the ball up, so if the attacking player dives you can hold it up, but I think he just caught out with the power of Fafita a little bit there.
Brand on the ball. Nicely done again through the line. Great running, and the tackle came in for the fullback Robertson. Loman McPherson coming in, ran well. Here's Brand, held by Tom. He's staying up there on Coetzee, the 15. Wrapped up is Cole Lamberton. Brand. quickly out to Miller. Miller, Eastgate tries to step inside. Berg on the outside of him, but he swallowed the ball in the tackle. Comes back onto Van Niekerk. Beresford trying to help out, he wears 5. Brand down the near side. There's Berg, already scored a try. Boyle. Oh, it's a lovely little spin away. He's still making ground, trying to lay it back. That's back onto Jack Hill. You can see there Lewis Berg going in. This is going to be tough to stop the Wolves. Trying to drive back. There's Muncaster at 8. Little ball on the inside. Still trying to come again. Well, there are bodies flying everywhere down in the corner. Now pulled out wide. They're going to try and hook it out. Onto McPherson. Oh, it comes back onto the fullback Coetzee, but the referee has said it's come forward. And Don Coetzee can't do anything about that one. Again, they had the opportunity to get it wide. They took it, a little bit scruffy in the pass.
Yeah, they knew that the players were there. It's a high looping pass. The longer the ball's in the air, the more chance is for the defence to shift. As Logan Jarvie did enough to try and put the doubt between Coetzee and Loman McPherson to actually who was catching the ball. But it'd be frustrating for Watsonians because they should have worked harder to get into position earlier. They'd made a lot of ground down that right-hand side. Connor Boyle fighting to get through, free of the tackle, I think, of Fafita. And then after 1 or 2 phases, I think Watsonians outside backs will be frustrated that they didn't work into position quicker in order to stress the defence more. They had numbers up, had more than enough time to get into the position, and they were a little bit slow to get reorganised, giving Jarvie just that opportunity to get up and cause a little bit of mayhem and force the knock on.
Well, Stirling have not found it easy to get out of situations like that. As they go to Benedict Grant. Hauled down. Christie back inside. Driven on well by Williamson. And the referee will give the penalty again, not moving away. Make the contact. Release the man. Get yourself rolled away. And the referee indicating with the signal simply didn't do that.
Yeah, Benedict Grant does a lot of carrying, doesn't he? It's the first off the scrum, then Max Williamson comes in. And is it Cecil? It's maybe rolling back towards, is it Beresford perhaps, maybe rolling back towards Stirling rather than out to the side. Quite rightly penalised, slowing possession down.
$66 points to 7 when these two sides met earlier this season. Watsonians cruising to victory. It's very different at the moment. Nicely taken down by Gregor Christie at 9. Got the pass away. Hiddleston driving forward. Now Pout and Williamson. The engine room. Here's Wood. Wood lays the ball back onto Holden. No way through on that occasion. Grant again goes for a wander. Thought about the little offload. Didn't have the support, so held on. Christie again. Into the line comes Craig Robertson. Cuts it. It's a difficult one. Little touch and turn. And the kick away is a good one. Well, he thought about it quickly, Craig Robertson. I don't think you want anything too quick. You played your way back into the game, Chris. You don't want to do anything daft.
Yeah, a couple of good kicks there, actually. Robertson finding space and cuts again. A really good long clearance, and Stirling have taken it pretty quickly. Benedict Grant again making so much damage and inroads in the midfield.
Two very talented number 8s on the field. And Muncaster the other. Now there's a little bit of room to run. Ryan Southern. That will bounce back into the arms of George Breeze. Hiddleston slapping the back. Wants the ball back. Christie onto Wood. Back into Holden. Holden across to Grant. Now it will come out wide. Here's the opportunity for Jack Hill. Fafita tried to pick it up. I think they butchered that. The turnover is good. And Brand onto Muncaster and Boyle. Well, they'll take their time here. Rory Brand just digging it out. Shapes the kick. Away cleanly. Holden. Held it in beautifully. First contact was great. Now he needs support. Christie through the hands of Fraser. Fraser being held up there by Van Niekerk. That comes on to James Pow. Pow. Oh, he's running away again. It was Lee Miller falling at his feet. Christie. Grant will offload to the fullback. That's through nicely onto Tom. Tom gets the ball out wide onto Logan Jarvie. Jarvie wasn't held. Great tackle. And then the ball slapped out the hands of Christie. The referee was happy. And the turnover looks like it's good for Watsonians. And here comes the clearing kick from Coatsy. Lots of action, Chris Paterson.
Yeah, well, Stirling Wolves are really finding a bit of joy up in the midfield. It's Pow, Benedict Grant, time and time again, giving them a go for it. It's a brilliant tackle in the end from Ben Muncaster that saves a certain try. There's another offload from Benedict Grant. This is Tom working through, and Logan Jarvie steps. That's a brilliant tackle from Muncaster because he's corner flagging, he's tracking laterally across the field, and as Jarvie steps back inside, Muncaster has to shift his weight and get a dominant enough tackle to stop the head. And then I think it was it Christie's or Rory Brand that got round on Christie's arm and knocked the ball down. But some really good last-ditch defence from the Watsonians number 8. But you can see that the confidence building not only in the defence of Stirling Wolves but in the attack.
I'm not sure how frustrated Ben Cairns will be. I mean, he announced earlier in the week that he is moving on from Stirling County. He'd made that decision at the start of the season, so Stirling Wolves will be looking for a new head coach. But this is the kind of rugby that we've associated with Stirling Wolves and Ben Cairns.
Yeah, I mean, you know, even in the sprint series, you know, earlier on in the season, they were really good to watch in terms of attacking play. I don't think they've changed much. It's just that they haven't had that kind of go forward as much as they'd like. It's very difficult to play a high tempo game and an attacking game if you're not making inroads first. And I think just with this evening we've seen their Benedict Grant time and time again get over, Southern in the midfield, Alex Tom in the midfield, Pow when he's carried, Max Williamson having more dynamism in the initial carry that gives them that little bit of momentum that they can then start to play this nice attacking brand of rugby. At times so far in this championship I think they've played that type of rugby in front of defences and haven't quite penetrated. Tonight they are, and Watsonians are having to work really hard to hold them out.
They'll be wearing this white kit again.
That's good for commentators though, isn't it?
Love it.
The numbers are bold, sticking out in the back of the jersey.
Be good if it caught on. That's disrupted, but it comes back. Fraser, the pass was a poor one. Holden has to wait for it. Little hitch, and then goes. Pulled down by Davis. Christie in again. That will come through onto Hiddleston. Hiddleston trying to find his way through, taken down by Boyle. Christie again, it's on to Grant. Grant with the offload. Pow couldn't get there. And that's picked up on that far side. That's Angus Guthrie got hands on that. Now come Watsonians. Not afraid to come out of defence. Conoriski sends it long. Holden takes it down. Rather flat. That actually hit Rory Brand right in the face. Still got the kick away. Oh, and that just goes at right angles and out. Well, they're asking for a 50-22, but I think that's short of the 22.
Well, it hit the flag that's on the 22, isn't it? So it's right on the line. Now, on the line's in, or over the line, it just depends which way you're looking at it. But yeah, Rory Brand did well there because it was a miss-hit clearance kick that he managed to catch. Certainly in the chest and the jaw. And then quick as a flash turn, and knew the space was in behind. Walter Fafita couldn't get over in time, and the bounce took it into touch. It is going to be a throw into Stirling Wolves. Well, it's a really important time, just a couple of minutes before half-time.
Yeah, it's a crucial part of the game, just 90 seconds before the interval. What's been an entertaining contest. A 59-point victory earlier in the season. The previous 7 wins between these two sides had been settled by 29 points in total. So the 66-7, a real outlier in the fixture. Christie booms it. Guthrie will take it down.
This could be an opportunity for Watsonians before half-time. The kick was a little bit too long.
Yeah, Coatsy going in. He dropped on. That will come on to Angus Williams, the Edinburgh player. The turnover, and the referee has basically said, yep, you've turned it over. There's no penalty coming. Christie hooks that all the way out onto Craig Robertson. Robertson, he's trying the 50-22. And that bounces all the way out. He knew he had the space. That's excellent.
I'm just wondering if the ball was passed back in to Craig Robertson. I'm not sure if it was pretty close, if not, but it's a great kick from Robertson on that left foot. It's once or twice he's found a bit of space down that left-hand side. And I was just saying what I thought was maybe a counter-attack opportunity for Watsons just before half-time now. Stirling have an opportunity to really close the gap. What will be the final play of the first half?
It's a great contest, illuminating the darkness that has fallen. Tafita is the try scorer. We'd fancy another one before half-time. Good play by Beresford, making the tackle. Protection came from Williamson. Benedict Grant. As sure as Dave Follows Night was getting the carry there. Hiddleston. Well, he messed it up, and it was well taken in the end by Connor Eastgate. There's nobody home. I'll tell you what, Coates here, as fast as they come, and Christie is going to have to get the burners on. He's going to try and get there, and I think he was caught. Man played man rather than man played ball. But I'll tell you what, Gregor Christie had no idea how quick Dom Coates here was, and he had to press the accelerator.
Well, that's a good call from Ian Kenny. Just look at the speed he makes, the space he makes up. And you won't see it just quite from that angle. That's Gregor Christie, not sure what's happening. Coates comes absolutely flying, but it's a good call from Ian Christie. You can't push a player in the back like that.
Well, it's been a good contest between the Stirling Wolves and Watsonians Rugby. And after 40 minutes at Bridgehaugh, Stirling Wolves 7, Watsonians Rugby 12.
Welcome back to Bridgehaugh. It is Watsonians who are leading the way here against Stirling Wolves, 12 points to 7. Chris Paterson's jogged himself down to the touchline here. He's back with me. Not quite as one-sided as we might have anticipated this first half was going to be.
Yeah, good first half. I think Stirling needed to get some confidence, having not won a game in the championship, the regular championship, and they got that through their defence. Last week we said they conceded 10 tries, and were really disappointed with the defence. And I think the opening, maybe 20 minutes, 15 minutes was mainly all about Watsonians having possession, but Stirling on the whole holding them out and doing really well. And you could see the little bit of confidence they got from the defence, and then hit back through Fafita's try. And it's been a really competitive end to that first half, and it'll be interesting to see what happens in the second half with, I suppose, how Watsonians target that and the confidence that Stirling get, how they come out in the second half and maybe push on.
Yeah, it took a while actually, to be fair, for this first try. Let's have a look at it though, and it came in the form of Sebastian Cecil. It was Lancaster. The start of that move was something pretty special. Yeah,
it was off at the tail of the line, and again getting his hands free and getting that offload away. We said in commentary that Watsonians can strike from anywhere across the field, whether big runners out wide or up the middle, and they did all of it in this try. That's the finish from Seb Cecil. Really nice delayed pass from Lee Miller, but it was initially from the line out, and Muncaster got over the advantage line, and then it was right from the far side of the field, coming all the way back to the left. Good offloads, good Cal Davis hitting the line at pace, going through, and you can see the retreating white shirts. It's so difficult to get back into position to come forward to make a contact, and Cecil, who's an aggressive big ball runner, pops over. The delayed pass at Lee Miller here was excellent as well. Once we see it comes back, you can see he just holds, he waits for the Stirling defence to make a decision, jump at the line. Here it is, that little delay.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing.
He knows exactly what he's doing, because Stirling want to get up, they want to come up really hard and put loads of pressure on, and that little delay and the line that Seb Cecil runs at space is an example of good execution of how to play against a blitz defence.
Yeah, and I think at that point most of us are sitting thinking, right, here we go, the floodgates are going to start to open. Lewisberg got the second try, we can take a look at that, and I think at that point they were in control, even though it was a bit of a sort of, I don't know, it was stagnated first half, maybe 10-15 minutes or so.
Yeah, I mean, this will be a disappointing try for Stirling to concede, because it's soft in the end, and they've done so many good bits of defending. Lewisberg's a powerful player, he scores almost every week in terms of how hard he carries possession, but until then the Stirling defence was good. Watsonians had to work really hard to break it, but here, that initial tackle and the second one from Holden, they'll be disappointed with that. Lewisberg as well to finish it off and fire through, but it did feel at that point, that was kind of made it 12-0, that Watsonians were finding their feet a little bit, and then maybe going to pull away. But credit to Stirling after this, they really did build into the game again. They took some confidence from the early part of the first half, but then managed to get their hands in possession, won a couple of penalties, put a bit of territory together, and found their first try.
And it was Walter Fafita who, to be fair, I mean, this let's take a look at this actually, because the strength in that player is just, you can tell the difference between
well, you can see them lined up here, number 9 Gregor Christie and Walter Fafita hanging in behind, so they've got this move called, but Watsonians defend it really well. They're coming forward, Stirling are going back, and then Gregor Christie knows, listen, all I need to do is get the ball to this big fella, and there he goes. So he creates the space really well. Christie, the number 9, he shapes to go outside, pops the ball back, almost a blind pass back inside, and then poor Rory Brand, the Watsonians number 9, has to try and stop it immediately on the line. And
ever been on the end of one of them?
Several. It's never a nice place. But Rory Brand, there's not much you can do. I actually think he was over the line anyway, and he just wanted to hit somebody, just to get the ball down.
Yeah, it was just almost like sort of proving a point.
Paul was talking us through his NFL understandings, that almost looking an NFL challenge there from Rory Brand. But yeah, it swung the game in all honesty. Stirling got confidence from it. The crowd got behind him a little bit, and it's been really competitive last 50 minutes or so, that first half.
It has, and we'll get to that in just a second, but Walter Fafita, Chris, talk to us about him. Obviously we know he's from Glasgow Warriors.
Yeah.
What do you think performances like this in the Super 6, it's important, I guess, for him to say, I'm here.
Yeah, I mean, he played last season Super 6, a couple of appearances for Glasgow Warriors. He played for Tonga against Scotland in the Autumn Nations Series last year, and did really well at BT Murrayfield. And you can see the threat. His threat is his size and his bulk and his physicality and his power. He hasn't had a huge amount of opportunities at Glasgow Warriors. There's plenty of depth in the back three there, but we've seen so many players coming through playing well in the FOSROC Super 6, and it's been a vehicle for for success, whether it's progression into the professional ranks at Edinburgh and Glasgow, or somebody like Logan Trotter, who has played so well for Stirling over the last couple of years here, playing now professionally London Irish through the week. So it is a great vehicle for players to progress and star whilst they're doing it. And I think Stirling would want him to get his hands on the ball a bit more as well. He had an opportunity a little bit later in the half and he kicked it, and I think most of the Watsonians players were quite happy. But yeah, he's an important player for Stirling, and he'll be looking to try and cement some good performances to put pressure for his place in Glasgow Warriors.
If you're Fergus Pringle right now, and you're thinking, you might have that stat on the back of your head knowing that they've actually never won here in the Super 6 Championship, right? What's he saying? I think he'll be frustrated. I think he'll be frustrated at the reasonable controlled start. They had a good start and a controlled start, and had everything, they had the game really in their control. I think he'll be frustrated, and a lot of it's down to what Stirling did to get back into the game, but I think Ferg will be frustrated that Stirling have found a way back in. Too many penalties that gave field position to Stirling, so I think he'll be frustrated. I think he'll really want to shore up the midfield defence a little bit. They've conceded yards to Benedict Grant more often than not on Alex Tom, the number 8 and number 12 from Stirling, to get over the advantage line. So I think he'll want to tighten up the defence a little bit, and he'll just want to get hands on the ball, stop giving penalties away that allow field position for Stirling. Whereas I think Ben Cairns in the other changing room, he'll be pretty happy, now, realising he's still trailing the game, obviously one score behind, but the confidence they can get from that first half and the quality they have on show, they can take a lot of confidence for the second half. They've played a lot of good rugby over the last couple of years under Ben Cairns, that attacking brand of rugby we saw towards the end of the first half there, and they'll be wanting that again in the second half. Okay, thanks very much for the moment, Chris. The second half of Stirling Wolves against Watsonians is on the way after this.
Well, Stirling Castle makes a wonderful place to visit during the day, but for a place to come in the evening and watch some great rugby, you can't beat Bridgehaugh. And tonight, the Stirling Wolves and Watsonians have gone head to head. It is bottom against top, but there are just 5 points in between these two teams. Carl Davis just stretching off. There's a change. Liam Brims is on. He wears 22. And there is the try scorer for the Stirling Wolves, Walter Fifita, the flying Tongan. And he has been impressive. Just like to see him get ball in hand a little bit and get things moving just a little bit more than he has been for Watsonians. They've been met with stiff resistance when they've been attacking. So this breeze that gets things moving. Disappointingly, I think it's Alex Tom who's had to go off at half-time. That will put Marcus Holding into centre on the inside.
Stay on 5.
Max Williamson going a little bit early. Rory Brand sending that across. And it's straight out of play. And immediately the advantage goes the way of the Wolves. Brand just making the mistake, just getting too much on the ball. And Craig Robertson knew where that was landing. So Angus Fraser. There's the thumbs up.
Stay where you are, please. Watson's one. Eight, don't close the gap.
Oh, the mistake is made, but the penalty will come. Interference, not allowing the jumper to move. It's been taken quickly. Fooled the referee as well. The advantage will come the way of the home side. Trying to find a way through. Hiddleston wears the scrum cap.
There's an no-arm tackle in here as well.
Yep. The referee indicating. Yep.
Yeah.
No arm tackle. It's a good spot, Chris. They went very quickly.
Yeah, it was Brand, I think. No arm tackle. It was. We were just saying just at half-time that, you know, the concession of penalties was probably one of the reasons that Stirling managed to force himself back into the game. And that's 2 penalties in quick succession in the first 2 minutes of the second half. That is, again, continuing that trend and allowing Stirling, with the quality they have, to put Watsonians under pressure.
Just frames it for the referee a little bit as well, just to see what it looks like.
You guys, you've got time to match the numbers. You don't even have a ball yet. You don't even have a ball
It's
yet.
a little kick to the corner, and now Angus Fraser looking to deliver. Does so into Jack Hill. Early pressure from the home side. We're passing the inside, no way through for Woodbreeze. Is right in beside him. Christie plays it across to Pout. Almost snuck under Beresford there. That's Brims wearing 22. Holding in at centre. Out it comes onto the fullback. No way through for Craig Robertson. Couldn't link with Logan Jarvie. Christie tried to go on the inside, taken down by Cecil. Holding in at scrum half. Max Williamson driving past Beresford. And the turnover is good from Watsonians. Laid back well by Cecil. And now the clearing kick, and it's long. And it's away. Corner escape. And you would say they survived that, Watsonians?
They did. It was Max Williamson actually made a bit of decent ground with the carry, but then was stripped. I think, was it Van Newkirk? I think they maybe stripped the ball. It was a really important, crucial turnover for Watsonians, and then Joey Reynolds managed to find a decent touch. So it was good defence by Watsonians, because the whole of this second half so far, 3.5 minutes, has been about Stirling having the ball in opposition territory.
Take a step, please.
Yeah, it was 22. Joe Reynolds, the man he replaced, was 12 corner escape. It's well taken down. Holden, trio of tacklers. Jarvie in there as well, tried to lend support. Hiddleston with a dummy run. Grant with the flowing hair and the ball. No way through for Liam Brims. Christie, Breeze, dropped the shoulder. Got some help from Ryan Southern. Brims onto Holden. Holden gets the offload onto Jack Hill. Max Williamson gets some help. Well, they're keeping possession, but they're not going anywhere. Brims through onto Breeze, and now there's a little clip kick through for Fafita to chase. Second prize, it's going to go out of play. Craig Robertson with a lovely kick through there, Chris.
It's about third or fourth occasion, hasn't it? He's managed to bounce on that outside line and use his left foot to put a bit of pressure on. I think he maybe would rather it stayed in. Fafita was chasing it well, but very comfortable defence from Watsonians, but not as dominant as maybe saw in the first half. Rory Brand colliding with Walter Fafita again. I thought he'd learned the first time.
If at first you don't succeed, but honestly, I would have given up there. Taken well. Although Beresford's got himself in a good position, he might be hard to shift. Davis in there. The penalty advantage will come the way of the Wolves. Can they make anything of the free play? No, they'll take the penalty. It's not coming out there.
Oh, it's quick. Fraser's gone quick.
He's dropped down, but he's dropped short. Christie. Well, they're going to try and come round the corner again. And the try is given. It's levelled up. Thanks, Max Williamson. Well, Gregor Hiddleston with the ball. Hiddleston getting the support from Williamson. And Hiddleston gets his way through. It's a third try in 7 games. And very impressive from the 20-year-old.
Yeah, really good. Exactly what Stirling deserved for the start of the second half. They've won 4 or 5 penalties already, and then they've just kept the pressure on, They won a penalty from this line out. Carl Davis, I think it was penalised. And then quick as a flash, Angus Fraser, his opposite number, took that. There's a penalty being awarded. And then quick as a flash, Fraser took it, darted to the line, was stopped short, and then Hiddleston made it at the second effort. So you can see there's just Fraser just about to take it, and Hiddleston, who's actually a hooker, or can play hooker and has played a lot of hooker, has shifted to the back row and is equally effective there. And it's exactly what Stirling Wolves would have wanted at the start of the second half.
They're still lead. Well, they've come from 12 points down to lead by 14 points to 12. 47 minutes on the clock. It is bottom against top. It was bottom against top back in 2019, and Stirling won by 27 points to 24. Will things repeat themselves here tonight?
There's it. Fraser taking a quick tap. There he goes, Hiddleston finishing off, coming over. And we're off away already. Stirling have claimed the kick-off. Christie's going to pop the ball back up in the air, and the kick chase is on.
Frostwick is on. His coach here takes the ball in. Well, the Wolves are hunting well tonight. Frostwick in its scrum half. Looked a little heavy by Williamson, and the advantage will come the way of Watsonians. They kick that away, and that is beautifully done. The execution of the 50-22. We've seen a couple of these tonight, Chris, but that was a great kick.
It was Lee Miller, just spun almost, didn't he, on his access, and knew exactly where he was and popped it into the opposition 22, so they get the throw in, and you could just feel the momentum building for Stirling. You know, through the end of that first half, they continued in the second half, and Watsonians needed a moment like that just to, you know, settle them down, try and maybe keep a little bit of possession in opposition territory or score some points here, because everything at the moment is building with Stirling.
Davison, well taken down Muncaster, and gets it on to Davis at the back, driving in there. Again is Van Niekerk. Frostwick 21, trying to swim through. Frostwick is there, there's the pass, the lovely little ball on the inside, taken by Loman McPherson, but the steal is on, and now the opportunity. Oh, how about that for a jink? Now here's the opportunity. He's still going, he ran out of steam, Ryan Southern, he gets the kick away, and now the opportunity. Coates Christie drags him down. Oh, this is terrific rugby. Now can they find a way through, and the kick out of play is delivered. What a passage of play, Chris.
The crowd are getting behind it. Frostwick can only bang it out. Just you know, maybe 5 or 6 metres further up the pitch. It was a brilliant tackle on Loman McPherson. I'm not sure who it was, but the ball came free, and rather Southern was first. It's Hiddleston again with that ball and all tackle, forcing the turnover. Then Southern, brilliant step from Williams. And just as he was accelerating, he stumbled and managed to get the kick away. Christie chasing it, Coetzee did really well to get back, but the kick chase kept coming. Christie, Southern chasing his own kick, and the pressure's back on Watsonians.
Well, Alex Thom had such a good first half, but he's had to go off. But Ryan Southern showing the centre play. That's been overthrown. Cal Davis was always waiting for it. And again, just a little swing of momentum as we've played 50 minutes.
Yeah, just stop running that Frosty. Nice hit.
Craig Robertson, he's got Fafita inside him. He's going for that little clip kick over. He got caught up though. Grant goes in, he can't get there. It's well taken by Joe Reynolds. Lewis Brim. Oh, he's in a world of trouble there. Needs help. Being bailed out by Logan Jarvie. Just another quiet night at Bridgehaugh.
So much going on. The start of the second half. 5 minutes, 10 minutes into the second half, and it's just been back and forward, hasn't it? I still think the momentum's mainly with Stirling, but you can see the threat. Joey Reynolds coming on as well. Eastgate was excellent in that first half, but Joe Reynolds, a really experienced campaigner in the midfield. He's got that left boot as well. And then, you know, putting the pressure back on Stirling. Now this will be an interesting. I think Watsonians will want to slow this down. I think they'll want to catch and drive and set up camp in Stirling's half, but we'll see.
Taken well by Paterson. Out wide by Van Niekerk. Again held up well, Hiddleston, the latest try scorer. FOSROC gets that away to Jack Hill. Advantage coming the way of Watsonians. Free play, Lee Miller. Reynolds gets it across. Oh, there's a real chance here to go in. Don Coetzee beats two. That's a hard tackle. Well, now here's the problem. It's all about, did the player fall into the tackle? The tackle looked hard. Both teams coming together. Walter Fafita playing as playmaker.
Well, it was a cracking break from Coetzee. You can see how quick he is. I hope he's okay, because he got caught just as he fell. Okay. He's sitting up, that's good. You can see the threat that Watsonians have. Really quickly shifting the ball from left to right, and then Coetzee knows that the defence are sliding over, and he just steps off the right foot first time, and then second time again. And let's have a look here. Is he on his way down? Oh, he's not on his. There's not a massive change in body height.
I think he was starting to slip.
He was starting to slip down, and Robertson's already engaged in the tackle. We don't have the ref's audio with us.
Well, this will be a question of yellow or red. Yeah, the referee's mic is inoperative at the moment, so we can't get the conversation that's going on. But Lee Miller, Marcus Holden. Well, the referee deciding there's a penalty, no more than that, for a high tackle. And into the crowd it goes. Well, this was the challenge. I think he had started to slip.
Well, I think Christie's already in position to make the tackle, isn't he? And the momentum comes from Coetzee as he slips. And penalty only. It's so subjective, but I can understand why that penalty's been given. And it's only a penalty being given, and it's good to see Coetzee up on his feet.
Well, there's the chance to go driving all the way through, and that's precisely what they do. Well, it was going to be a hard one to defend against, but it wasn't to be, and Watsonians recapture the lead.
Yeah, clinical, wasn't it? Clinical delivery, and then set up, and as soon as you get that momentum going, it's almost impossible to stop. It's Van Niekerk, I think, that's got it in the end. You can see the body position's excellent.
Yeah, I mean, he just drove his way through. There was not a problem whatsoever. And over he goes, the little pat on the back. Pats on the back all the way around Van Niekerk. And Watsonians retake the lead. Should be fairly straightforward, and is. It's a 5-point game once more.
Yeah, you can see just the quality the Watsonians have, that attack that led to the penalty, and then really clinically from the line out, almost uncontested in some ways, really. A drive from Watsonians getting over there to try to score there with the headband, Van Neerkert. And, you know, Stirling did so well to get ahead, but they were only ahead for less than 4 minutes or 5 minutes.
Yeah, Watsonians number 4 going over. This is first try for Watsonians, appearance number 21 on the Super 6.
Get out of there on the ball. You're fine, James. You're fine now. You're fine, James.
FOSROC taking his time. Almost closed down by Williamson. And the kick is straight out. Well, when you've got Max Williamson, 6'7", bearing down on you.
Yeah, it's a second one, isn't it? There's the one immediately from the kick-off of the second half. I think it was Rodebrand. Then, and Frostwick that time. It's frustrating for the coaches, Watsonians coaches and players, because it's something they practice often, is how to clear lines, especially from kick-off receipt. It was very slow, good pressure from Max Williamson, but Frostwick will be a bit cross with himself that he pulled it out in the full.
Well, again, the throws to the back, the mistake made. And Cal Davis is the player who takes it away, and then again not moving away. You can't afford to be conceding the ball away like that.
No, it's an overthrow at the line out and then a penalty conceded right away. I think Hiddleston might be a wee bit disappointed with that, because he actually made the tackle on Carl Davis, and then I think he tried to strip without releasing. So it's very tempting to do that, but you have to make a clear release before going back onto the ball. And from putting Watsonians under pressure from the kickoff, Watsonians have now, through 2 pieces of play, or 1 piece of play really, and 1 penalty, found their way up to just outside the Stirling 22.
Yeah.
It's another penalty conceded as well, I think, on the advantage. Pulling down the maul.
FOSROC on to Reynolds. Reynolds pulls the ball back onto Miller. Miller tries to play it through. That might break the way of Coetzee. Coetzee tries to get there, and it's touched over
You've knocked it on
by Loman McPherson. But the knock-on came against Watsonians, so they will bring it all the way back.
He's such a threat, Dom Coetzee, isn't it? I said he's played so well this season. Now, his pace when he's got the ball in hand, but also when he's chasing loose kicks at that. And we saw at the end of the first half, he's so quick that he can force errors just by the speed of his chase as well. Go back for the penalty for pulling down the maul. And that's what we call piggybacking penalties. 2 in a row conceded from Stirling. And they go from the opposition 22 to deep inside their own 22. 10 metres out from their own try line, now having to defend just 2 penalties in quick succession.
So Watsonians fell behind, have taken the lead once more.
There's already a maul formed just before the maul.
Just to come back to the potential yellow card, red card, the incident, there, it's so difficult for the referees. They see it once, they try and figure it out, you try and replay it in your mind. And if the referee felt it was purely accidental, then he made a good call tonight.
Yeah, did no TMO either, so it's that one viewing we have, and it happened quickly. There was a drop in height, as Stirling have done well to hold that up. It's actually poor maul attack from Watsonians. Cal Davis getting isolated and getting held up quite easily by Benedict Grant in the end. But yeah, going back, they've got one view at it, but quite often your initial view is quite conclusive, if that makes sense. No matter, even if it's really quick, the more you look at something, the more cloudy it can become, the greyer it becomes. And having, trusting your instinct and seeing what you see initially, it quite often is right. And it was, quite right for me and Kenny at that time.
You have to say, when the officials came together, I did wonder if it was a question of yellow or red. I mentioned that.
And you can understand that, yeah. And I think if we'd had a TMO, we'd have had that debate long and hard. Probably yellow because there was head contact, and the force came from the attacking player, and there was a dip in height. Not significant, but enough to probably to negate or mitigate the fact that Gregor Christie was already in that tackle position before Coetzee lost his footing. Yeah, Ian Kenny was on the money.
Benedict Grant takes it, runs into a little bit of trouble. It was Lewis Berg. Finlay Burgess now on it, scrum half. Started it last time out against Ayrshire Bulls. Coetzee, not really the man you want to be kicking to because he's got that little sprint in him. Watsonians. See Jamie Beresford there, going in, helping on the clear out. And on past Williamson. Frostwick on to Miller. That's Boyle. Boyle and Van Niekerk, both with the headbands, both with the dark hair, and both presenting a threat. Davis trying to pump those legs low. Frostwick on to Reynolds. Well taken down by Marcus Holden. And there's the penalty. Tried to continue too far and held on. He knew he was isolated.
Yeah, it's Joe Reynolds just stepping back inside. And he almost got scragged through that first tackle. I think it was Marcus Holden. Did enough to slow him, but it gave Joe Reynolds the confidence to go again, to try and make another 2 or 3 metres, which he did, but then it just led him right into the grasp of Benedict Grant, and Benedict Grant, the big number 8, who again is so impressive we've seen. And there's that kind of initial half tackle. He takes the extra metre, but right into Benedict Grant's grasp. And we could say he's not really supporting his own body weight, but he is over the top of the ball and wins the penalty.
The line out is disrupted again. Trying to come through there is 19, that's Hamish Ferguson that's on. The line out is a real problem as Benedict Grant gets knocked back. Frostwick on to Miller. There's Reynolds. Easy take. And that was well away by Craig Robertson. Now he's made the mistake of putting it out on the full. Been a few kicking errors.
Yeah, that's a bad mistake from Robertson. Oh, I think we've gone quickly again, and that's another knock on, another mistake. So Watsonians, I'm surprised they're forcing the tempo in this game, having, you know, obviously they're away side and they've got themselves back in the lead. No need to do that, but Craig Robertson had a lot of space to aim for. I actually think that Joe Reynolds came on with a plan from half time to kick more, to try and get in behind the Stirling defence, maybe as a reaction to how, you know, impressive at times that Stirling defence was in the first half. So I think Joe Reynolds' left foot on that far side is a tactical change to try and get the ball in behind, and Craig Robertson, you know, covered it well there, but kicked the ball straight out. And Benedict Grant's going to play on, is it? Yep.
He's a hard man to play against. He's a hard man to get off the field in any
every
way.
time, I mean, we've been here 2 or 3 times, Paul, and every time he's been outstanding in terms of how he drives his team forward. He's not the skipper, but he drives his team forward in terms of his performances, whether it's attack or defence. He gets on the ball a lot. He makes a lot of big collisions. Even there, I mean, he fell off a tackle there, but he threw himself into it. Let's have another look at the try. Yeah,
it's Conor Boyle.
Is it?
No, Conor Boyle. I think Van Niekerk was standing off to the side.
It's Conor Boyle.
It's Conor Boyle that's gone through. Yeah, I was with you. I thought it was Van Niekerk, but Boyle.
I figured you guys just wanted an exit.
So the man with Edinburgh Rugby, former Stuart Melville, Scotland under 20 captain, has gone over. And Quagga Van Niekerk waits for his first try for another day. Grant on to Holden. Holden initiating contact, running in well into Berg. Trying to find it. There's Burgess. Burgess and Brims now the half-back partnership. Comes back on to Liam Brims. Gets that away. Came off the bench last week. And off the bench this week. Angus Guthrie making the run. And Frostwick back on the inside, dropping the shoulder. Cole Lamberton. Frostwick. That little give and go, that little window that opens for scrum halves that is either wide open or he gets scragged quickly. Cal Davis. Frostwick.
way beyond the ball.
Was he held?
Yep. He was held and went again.
I can see it's kind of more respect paid to Stirling's defence here. That a couple of occasions there, they've Watsonians tried to go straight over the top of the ball. So rather than make a one pass or two passes and play to the heart of the defence, they're just trying to go right over the top of the ball to make keep the defence honest, almost to make sure they put an extra defender in behind the ball. But it was well covered by Stirling, and Carl Davis was tackled and didn't release before getting back to his feet, or steal another metre or so.
Adam Wood is struggling. He's going to be replaced. Cameron McMillan will replace him.
It's a good shift.
Yeah, he certainly got himself about the pitch, didn't he?
Yeah, he's heavily involved in carrying defensively as well, so he's worked hard.
That didn't look straight, but it was taken by Williamson. They've thrown a few away, so I think they were trying to play it safe, but the referee happy. Williamson down by Miller. Burgess on to Holden. Back onto Burgess. Oh, they almost worked it well. And that is a knock-on advantage for the visitors. The league leaders, Watsonians, lost only once this season to the Bulls. FOSROC plays it away. Wasn't the easiest touch to give your full-back, but he caught well. Craig Robertson, a little bit isolated. The pass on to Fergus, Angus Fraser. And the penalty for Watsonians. It looked messy from Stirling. They didn't get the support they needed in there, Chris. And again, forced a man to hold on.
Yeah, it was actually, I quite liked how they played though there. That just the offload to keep the ball alive, and just as it was George Breeze just kind of running into three defenders, wasn't it? That's the window you need. It's just so short in terms of duration to allow players to get in over the top of the ball. So it was George Breeze that was turned over. The call from the sideline is to go for the goal. That's coming from the Watsonians coaching staff. It's obviously not made it onto the field, so they've gone to the corner.
Well, we can see the discussion that's going on between the coaching staff, and I'll tell you what, there's been a breakdown of communication. And Fergus Pringle, the head coach, I reckon they should have podied the 3 points that were on offer. And again, that would just take it to an 8-point gap. But can Watsonians make their coach smile by finding a way over the try line here?
Breakaway, Cal.
Williamson pulled out. FOSROC. Still trying to find a gap.
They're going on over the top of the ball again, aren't they? Really direct, not risking the pass. I'm just trying to get that space right over the top of the ball.
And Niekert driven back that time. Connor Boyle is the recipient this time. Tries that little step inside. Davis now rooting for the ball. Tries to come round the corner. Van Niekert there again. Pow is off. Williamson is in there. Ferguson now in supporting him. Hiddleston.
Release, tackler, 17.
Well, it's attritional. FOSROC. Davis by his shoulder. Cole Lamberton to the side.
It's too slow to threaten the Stirling defence. They need to get some momentum over the top of the ball to get a bit quicker.
Ben Muncaster comes across. He gets himself set. Cecil already scored a try. Tried to go round the corner. Calling for it on this right-hand side, the stand side. Watsonians is McPherson, but they're keeping it nice and tight. Round the corner they come. Keep going is the cry. Muncaster trying to close it down. Picking up again was Boyle. Stirling again trying to hold here. There's the drive. Kieran Watt driving in as well. It's very, very slow. It's very, very deliberate. Ball is available. That's Hill. Grant tries to counter. Now they'll come out to the stand side. Stirling arranging their defence. Round the corner again. Little pick up and go. There's no way through for Boyle. Driving again. Good Watt. Davis now thinks it'll be his turn. Come back out to the stand side. Boyle dragged down by Hiddleston and Holden. The ball though presented backwards once more. Again, trying to drive through the middle. Trying to get underneath, tried to hold up. It's not easy. Inside again, closer and closer. Little ball round the corner. Stirling might be struggling here. Now it gets pulled back. Miller onto Reynolds. Reynolds a little pass inside. That's a good score. Angus Guthrie was repelled once, but he got on the front foot. And he gets the pats on the back, and Watsonians extend the lead.
Well, it's Angus Guthrie that scores, but it took a long time coming in. The possession was so slow, a lot of hard work done, both in attack and defence. But just as soon as it moved the ball a little bit wider, it just creates a different picture for the defence. You then start to ask the defence to make decisions rather than just question their bravery or stop and pick and goes for so long. And the ball back inside from Joe Reynolds. I actually thought defensively, still in a good position, but Southern just fell off the tackle from Big Guthrie, the left winger, ball back inside, bursting through that tackle and scoring. You got the feeling the try was coming, but it took a long time to come, didn't it? In terms of that pick and go, pick and go, pick and go. What Watsonians are looking for is quick balls so they can strike. It didn't come, but eventually they scored anyway.
Lee Miller, a little and off. Well, it's been a game of momentum. 12 points scored to open by Watsonians. 14 points came the reply from the Stirling Wolves. And now another 14 points scored on the bounce for Watsonians. 26-14. This Benedict Grant's evening has come to a close on a 12-point gap, as it was after 19 minutes. It is with 69 minutes. End of the evening for Cole Lamberton. Bobby Bratton comes in off the bench. Started the last 4. And he'll just play the last 11 minutes or so. Miller. That's exactly what you want. That's just efficiency, isn't it? You take it, you get rid of it, and you get back up to not quite halfway, but 10-metre line.
Liam Brim's kick was just a little bit too long and dragged in field a little bit, so it gave a nice angle for his opposite number, Lee Miller, to find a good safe touch. Still I want to try and get this ball in quickly and get the tempo up. Obviously going into the final 10 minutes. Right. Apply some pressure, whereas Watsonians, they'll just want to slow it down. They're quite happy for this slow tempo.
Tried to disrupt, and they've done so again. Tell you what, with better line-out play, the Wolves could have been much more comfortable tonight.
They've lost a few, haven't they? Yeah. And they've won a few as well. They've had a lot, I don't know the number, a lot of line-outs. Max Johnson's risen up and caught a few pow as well, but 1 or 2 overthrown, 1 or 2 well defended from Watsonians, getting up and winning the steal rather than a poor throw.
Well, the referee is going to replay that back in his mind. It certainly looked like it was juggled in the midfield.
Guys, so that quick line out is crooked.
So the line out was the problem. It was a crooked line out.
Watsons, we have a crooked throw. Scrum in 50.
I think they'll go for the scrum here. The line out's been a bit of a lottery. I think you're safer on your own scrum ball.
I think so. Yeah, there's been a whole host of reasons for line-outs not functioning. Some of it's poor play from the team thrown in, a poor call, a poor drive or a poor movement. Sometimes it's just excellent defence, and more we see. And I quite like the fact that opposition defensive players get up in the air, they make it difficult, they put doubt in the thrower, they put doubt in the call, you try and get your hand in and win the ball. Now it means that the ball you win back sometimes isn't particularly clean, but I quite like the fact that, you know, a lot of times this evening the poor lineouts have been a result of good defence rather than just allowing the team thrown in to get an easy ride.
Stirling Wolves, no points this season. Can they find a way to get it within 7, which would be a bonus point loss? They find a way to keep Watsonians out, but it's hard at the moment. FOSROC inside onto Cecil, back inside onto FOSROC, gets the ball away. It's taken up well. Can the prop make his way? It's Bobby Bratton at 17. Now they're close to the line. FOSROC opens it up. Miller will send it out wide. Guthrie. And this time it is the first try in Watsonians colours for Quagga van Niekerk. Just where you expect your lock forward to be the widest player out on the touchline, and over he goes.
Yeah, it's a good score from Watsonians. It's orchestrated really by Rowan FOSROC at 9, taking the space on 1 or 2 occasions. The first ball was Lewis Baird carried really hard up the midfield, and then FOSROC was just dictating where the next play came from. That's the first one he offloads to Seb Cecil, opens his legs up again, then it comes back through FOSROC again. This one just goes behind Boyle, but it's picked up by Bobby Bratton. We thought he was going to make it, and this is the important bit. Get the ball away from there. That's where all the defenders are honeypotting to. Get the ball out wide through Guthrie's hands to Van Niekerk, who scores in the corner. Good play.
I have to say, he touched down like he didn't look like he scored a lot of tries.
I wasn't sure he was over the line, I think.
He's played well, and that's good reward.
He certainly has.
So Watsonians, as they've done so often this season, stretch their lead, have a try bonus, and just keep racking up the points.
Another good kick from Lee Miller. Oh, Martin is a try scorer. Van Niekerk, we thought he'd got one earlier on. He's certainly got one now. Oh, a couple of changes from Stirling Wolves as well. It's amazing how quick the momentum changes, doesn't it?
That's Rodri Tanner, who's back again, called back up to the Wolves squad. Callum Norrie on as well. Here's Brims. Brims with a pass on the inside, trying to drive on. Here's Jack Hill. Watsonians, though, have pockled that. FOSROC. Little chip ball through. Oh, Cunningham tried to flick that back, but again, Miller up so quickly. 1 or 2 Watsonians players stretching out, but they'll be okay. Well, anybody looking at the scoreboard right now, Wolves 14, Watsonians 33, would wonder about the game and think Watsonians have had it easy. It's far from it. Stirling Wolves coming from 12-0 down to lead 14-12 after 47 minutes. But since then, Boyle, Guthrie, Van Niekerk, all with tries. Good kicking by Lee Miller, as that's just kicked through on that occasion by Guthrie. Out of play, plenty of great performers on the night. Chris Paterson, your player of the match.
Yeah, the FOSROC player of the match has just scored a try, actually. Quagga van Niekerk. There he is, big number. He's been outstanding in terms of his maul, offensively and defensively. He's carried so many balls in the hard yards. He scored that try. It's just been a real abrasive performance from the second row. Dom Coetzee, a fullback, has played really quite well as well. I think Gregor Hiddleston in the back row for Stirling Wolves, but Quagga van Niekerk takes it today.
It's taken well by Hamish Ferguson. Hiddleston referred to there by Chris, has had a really good game, scored as well. Battling for the ball, Finlay Burgess. Burgess on the inside, Ferguson going backwards, and now the black scrum cap, it's George Arnott. A little no-look pass from Cameron McMillan, and the knock-on, as that will be taken away by Ryan Southern, but it will come back for the scrum. It's been impressive from Watsonians, Chris, the way they've just stepped up. They found themselves behind, they got themselves right back into it. There's a steal to them.
Yeah, they didn't panic, did they? The momentum was certainly with them initially, then completely gone against them. They went from being 12-0 up to 14-12 down. Just, what was it, 47, 48 minutes when Hiddleston scored, but they were only behind for 4 or 5 minutes, and then hit back through Boyle's try, and then Guthrie, and then Van Niekerk, obviously. So they didn't panic. I still think they'll be frustrated with how they've played in terms of allowing Stirling back into the game, but also just how scrappy the second half's been at times. Been clinical when they've scored the tries, but there again, a decent scrum that, you know, a good attacking position that they've been turned over in.
Southern tried to pick that up. I thought the fly hack might have been the option, because it seemed to be very close into his body. Hiddleston did well. There's certainly no drop off in pace. Hamish Ferguson on the carry. Finlay Burgess smuggled that off to Fafita. Well, he rumbled them away for fun. Fafita gets the ball on the inside. Southern trying to go through. He's trying to go into the corner and play it back inside. And Finlay Burgess will go in and under the posts. It's a lovely piece of open rugby from Stirling Wolves, who'll take the conversion quickly through. 33-21.
Brilliant score, really good score. This Finlay Burgess spotting the short side, then Craig Robertson flicks a ball away to Fafita, who just swats 2 or 3 defenders away. Then really clever play, draw the man, find Southern, who's flying down the left-hand side, and again as the drift defence comes across, it's really good work from Burgess, who started it all with a pass from the base to Hunt on the inside, get his score, and then in one movement chip an extra 2 over as well. Good play, good score.
His first points as a Stirling Wolf, and he got that over to get the try and the conversion. Well, there's a minute to play. They're 12 points down. They could get another try, which would be a try bonus point and a losing bonus point, but they're having to do so against the league leaders. Well, they're going to try. Holden gets the ball out wide.
Southern again.
Southern to the feet. I've liked Tom and Southern. And now the opportunity. Cunningham tries to get it. Ball inside. It's blocked. It goes out. They will have the throw. They will have time to take it, which they've done quickly. Now here comes a little clip kick through. One full back to another. Robertson trying to get the better of Coetzee. Coetzee lays the ball off. Connor Boyle. Watsonians looking to win on this ground for the first time in the Super 6. And it's a long kick. And it bounced all the way through. And the referee says there's time for the scrum. Yeah, he's going to allow the scrum because the ball, I think, ran dead with 79-59.
Yeah. Could be the first point of the season, isn't it? If they get that bonus point for 4 tries, it's worth playing for. It's good to see the ambition there as well.
So time for a little bit of running rugby. Edge stoppage time for the Stirling Wolves. Watsonians had lost only 88 points in the 6 games coming into tonight. All 6 wins this season by 10 points or more. Currently they have a 12-point advantage. It just puts the pressure on the Ayrshire Bulls, who play the Southern Knights tomorrow. Heriots play the Boroughmuir Bears.
Stand left of the mark, okay? You stand left of the mark, please. Thank you. You hold your weight until we come together on the set. Clear. Thank you.
Well, they may not have had a victory this season. They're not going to win tonight, the Stirling Wolves, but you cannot doubt the fortitude that this team has shown. They need to get that ball out of there quickly. They've done so. Burgess on to Brims. Brims on to Southern. Southern, well, he's got speed. Dragged down by FOSROC. Now on the inside. And there is possibly the ugliest kick you have ever seen to seal a game. The turnover completes. The ball sent out of play. Well, what an interesting evening it has been at Bridgehaugh. The FOSROC Super6 Championship rarely disappoints. Watsonians led by 12-0. They trailed by 14-12, but they were too strong in the end. It's finished Stirling Wolves 21, Watsonians Rugby 33.
Am I giving it to you?
Welcome back to Bridgehaugh. It was a convincing win in the end for Watsonians. They ran out 33-21 against Stirling Wolves. I'm joined by the captain, Lee Miller. Hello to you, Lee. The player of the match, Quagga van Niekerk, as well. I'm going to get you to do the honours in just a second, Lee, but Quagga, just let me ask you first and foremost, what did it feel to be out there tonight?
Oh, first of all, just like to use this opportunity to thank my Lord and Saviour for this opportunity. Without Him, none of this is possible, and I think it's just our own errors, like making it difficult for ourselves. Otherwise, like when we stick to our basics, stick to what we know, it went pretty well for us. So playing on top of and playing with tempo, stuff that works for us. So I reckon if we just do that throughout the season, stuff will go away.
Yeah, did it feel a little bit frustrating at times tonight, Lee?
Yeah, definitely. I think the first half we let ourselves down a wee bit. I think the forwards were outstanding all night, but as a backline, I think we let them down in certain areas and just getting a bit too eager to kind of go to the edge and take the opportunities. So yeah, I think forwards were fantastic throughout the game, but I think as a backline we were a bit frustrated, and certainly going in at half time we were a bit let down by ourselves. But the second half, I thought we were outstanding once we got going. Once we started playing our game, playing with tempo and playing in the right areas, it kind of got on top of them again.
Yeah, what changed for you, Quagga, in terms of just that link up between both sets of players?
I think we just went to what we know, just carrying up with the forwards, creating space for the backs. We usually say like forwards will carry the piano, backs will play it. So I reckon that's what he did the second half.
Do you know what's really interesting as well? Just the consistency of performance that you guys have had across the last, few weeks and months. How do you keep that going for the last 3 games of this season?
I think week on week we just try and look at ourselves instead of too much into the opposition and stuff. Obviously we do homework, but I think we're a very tight-knit group. And
yeah, because there was a big expectation tonight, to be fair, on you guys' shoulders to win this comfortably.
Yeah, definitely. After 2 weeks ago, yeah, definitely. But Bridgehaugh is a tough place to go, and to be fair to Stirling, they were fantastic throughout the game, and we knew it'd be a tough game. But like Quagga said, is like as soon as we got back to our basics and what we do well, we kind of come through. So. And
Quagga, you managed to get yourself a try tonight. Talk us through that.
I think it's my first one for Watsonians, so it's actually quite
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it's quite special. Actually, wasn't supposed to be there. Just told the hooker to go in, and I was the lucky man on the edge.
Nice one, and then obviously converted as well after that. Right, okay, Quagga, you were the player of the match. Lee, do you want to do the honours? Congratulations, well done. Thanks very much for that, guys. We'll be back with more analysis after this short break.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome back to Stirling. Chris Paterson's alongside me, and just running up maybe about, I don't know, 10-20 yards. That was some turn of pace there, Fergus Pringle.
Old diesel engine, isn't it?
You did well. You did well tonight. Talk us through that performance.
Yeah, listen, to be honest, we're pleased with the win. I thought Stirling played really well. You know, we started quite well, went 12-0 up, and then we had a couple opportunities there in the 22 to get some more points at the middle of the first half, and we didn't convert those opportunities, and I think that gave Stirling a bit of hope. And to be fair to it, they came back into the game, took their chances, and put us under a lot of pressure during the game.
Was it just a case of trying to be patient with this tonight? Because at times, again, especially at half-time, there could have been the potential there for a bit of frustration to start kicking in.
Yeah, to be honest, there was a lot of frustration coming into the changes half-time, and to be honest, I was trying to calm the guys down and just say, look, you know, we may be just trying to get the ball to the edge a bit too quickly instead of doing the hard work first and putting in the hard yards, and we maybe try to force it a bit. So we just said, let's just get back to our game, play in the right areas. If we have to go through the forwards a bit more and be a bit more patient, let's just build our innings a bit, you know.
Did you, I suppose, worry about the penalty concessions? Because there's groups of penalties in the first half that allowed Stirling to get the, I suppose, the foothold to get their first try, and then immediately after half-time there was 3 or 4 in a row as well. That would be a frustration for you.
You know, to be honest, it was actually quite funny, because I was sitting next to JP Doyle in the stand, and every time there's a pen, I'm sitting with JP and we're discussing whether it's a penalty, whether it's not, whether it's the right call. So to be fair, I think in those kind of games where they were really like up for it, they really got into the fight in that second half, and you could see those momentum swings, and sometimes with those momentum swings you get a few decisions off the back of that, you know.
Well, let's have a look at them actually, because this was the first try in the second half for Stirling Wolves. This was Gregor Hiddleston's, and I tell you what, they blasted into the lead, didn't they, at this point?
Well, yeah, it came from a penalty as well, wasn't it? I think it was about the 4th minute of the second half, and he'd already conceded 2 or 3 penalties, and I think it was Carl Davis coming into the side, but really quick thinking from Angus Fraser, his opposite number, to go quickly from the mark, and then Gregor Hiddleston, who was said in commentary I thought was outstanding, a hooker betrayed as well, but equally come from the back row, he was really outstanding. It was just the quick play really from Fraser there, and then Hiddleston managing to squeeze over.
Yep. You know, Mossy said it there. I think that came off the back of us missing an exit, kicking the ball straight out on the full from the restarts, and then we gave away a couple soft penalties, and that gave them that entrance to the 22. And they were pretty smart. You know, they ran their 7-man line out. They tried to break out around that 7-man and take us on around those fringes. They caught us a couple times, and they kept going there. And to be fair to them, they took the opportunities well when they got in our 22.
We had a chat there with Lee Miller, who was just talking about just feeling that frustration. He was verbalising that quite clearly, and saying actually for them there was something just needed to click into place with that, just the link up play between the forwards and the backs, and then clearly I think Connor Boyle's try here, there was something began to change. Yeah,
listen, I think, like I said earlier, I think we maybe just didn't get those building blocks in place like in the first place, and I think what Lee alluded to was just that we were trying to force the pass and trying to push it too hard. But I'd turn around and give credit to Stirling. You know, they were really up for the game. They fought really hard for everything. A lot of the time they were beating us to the loose ball on the floor and winning the scraps, and you've got to give them credit for that. It's been tough for them, but they really stood up and put in a good performance, and I thought it was a good game ultimately.
Yeah, I think as well that you were only behind for moments. This is what could have been a contentious moment in the second half, but I thought Ian Kenny got it right on. There's no TMO. The reason that's not a red card is because the could see us falling as he goes at the tackle.
There as well.
He falls at the tackle, and Gregor Christie, the defender, couldn't do anything else. He'd already set to make the tackle, but clinically from that, the penalty to the corner, and that's a really good maul. You'll be proud of that one, Ferg.
Yeah, well, to be fair, we haven't scored as many more tries this season as I would have liked, but I think to be fair, and again I was sitting next to JP, and as it happened straight away he thought it was a penalty, and I think it looked like Ian was actually going to his pocket as it happened to give the yellow card, and the ARs I think got him to change his mind, and I think it is a fair call. They're very tough calls to make, and they don't have the benefit of going and looking on the replay to see what's happened.
We said in commentary that if you go back to that and look in a TMO, it probably clouds it even more, because you see more and you see
in slow motion, and they take the speed down.
So I thought he did really well to get that right.
The benefit of hindsight and the TMO. Right, okay, let's look at the other couple of tries actually from tonight. We'll just quickly run through them. Fergus, chat us through this.
It took a while.
Yes, it did. I'll be honest, right? I was standing on the sideline shouting at our S&C coach to get the tee on. And Lee actually told me after the game, I heard you calling for the tee, but they went for the corner, ignored what I said. And again, I think that was just what we spoke about, being a bit more patient. I know it didn't look pretty, but just keeping the ball close, trying to suck their forwards in, just trying to get them tighter and tighter so we can get backs on backs opportunities. And I know it took a lot of phases, but to be fair, I was quite proud of the guys there that last 20 minutes, because you're going to be in big games, knockout games, and big games where you're under a lot of pressure, and I think you just have to find a way sometimes. And our boys definitely, when we weren't on it, we still just found a way to grind out some scores, which is a good sign for us, I think.
That is the key, isn't it? Making sure that no matter what happens, whether you're winning ugly or not, that you're winning games. And I guess that breeds that confidence continually as well.
Yeah, 100%. I think you're spot on, 100%.
And this is contrast though, isn't it? Moments later, a really good line of attack up the midfield, 2 or 3 really good decisions, and then spread it wide. So it shows you, into these big games, into these knockout games, you can do one, but you can do the other as well. Yeah,
for sure. And I think, to be honest, I think the try that really changed the momentum back in our favour was that one we scored off that pick and go, because then I felt it almost took the wind out of their sails, but they were right in the game until then, and then we managed to get some field position. Lee kicked a 50-22, we turned them, got them in the corners, and I think that try before that one actually was the turning point, because it probably just, they got a bit deflated, and it was almost like the game was gone for them, and we were able to go and score one more,
Okay. For the moment, thank you very much for that, Fergus.
No problem.
We'll let you get back. You don't have to run just quite as quickly as you did when you
I
were
was saying to Mossy, I had my run this morning. I did my little run this morning, so I've done my steps for the day.
You don't need to run, but I'm going to time you what it takes to get back.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks very much for that, Fergus. I mean, Chris, we discussed this beforehand about the idea of this being a walkover for Watsonians tonight, and to be fair to Stirling, they did exactly what the coach had said beforehand, Ben, that he was, that they were here to
and this sums it up. That Finlay Burgess last try sums it up.
Oh yeah.
There was they fought really hard to the bitter end. It was Fafita again using his power and his strength. A nice offload there from Robertson, and watch this, just swats 1 or 2 away and kicks up. But then has the ability to draw Lee Miller as a defender. Ryan Southern pops it back inside to Burgess, who's just fresh off the field, and that was the final try of the game. It was a game of momentum. It swung one way. Stirling got themselves ahead, frustrated Watsonians, but Watsonians' quality just came through in the end, and they had enough guile and decision making and power on the field to pull away. But credit to Stirling, and you can hear Fergus saying there how impressed he was with Stirling, and they finished with the last try.
And for the neutral and for the people who managed to come out tonight, because that's a chilly night tonight, it was just a decent game of rugby.
It was good. It was good. We enjoyed it. As Paul and I sat in the commentaries, we actually really enjoyed that after that, because at one stage it could have been a bit one-sided, looking at the scores and in the championship so far, but it certainly wasn't. It was a good game of rugby, good individual performances, and a decent team performance in the end.
Just a final point for you, just briefly, because we are running out of time. But is it Watsonians to lose?
I think they've been the most consistent. Obviously, the one game they have lost was against Ayr, who are, very strong as well. Boroughmuir Bears have had a cracking season, but I think
got game in hand as well, haven't they?
Yeah, I think Watsonians will. They're in the box seat at the moment, and it's going to take a good team to beat them.
Okay, let's have a look actually at how that leaves the league table this evening. Thank you very much for that, Chris. Yeah, Watsonians are leading the way on 31 points. Ayrshire Bulls sitting on at 19. Stirling Wolves still yet to pick up a point. Played 7 games, of course. Southern Knights on 5, Heritage Rugby on 15, and Boroughmuir Bears on 18. Don't forget, plenty more rugby action to come. You can watch Heritage Rugby against Boroughmuir Bears, and we've got Ayrshire Bulls and Southern Knights up tomorrow as well in the FOSROC Super 6 round of 7. I can't quite believe we're in round 7 of this competition already. It's gone so very quickly. Right, you can get your fill next week as well. It is Boroughmuir Bears at Meggetland against Stirling Wolves. How is that going to pan out at Meggetland? Boroughmuir Bears welcoming Wolves, round 8 of the FOSROC Super 6 Championship. You can join us in Free Sports next Friday from 7:30. Thank you very much to everyone who joined us this evening. Thanks to Chris, thanks to Paul Mitchell, and thank you very much to you at home for watching. We'll see you next time. Good night.